Dordrecht. Dordrecht, UK, US, Dutch ๊dɔrdrɛxt listen, colloquially Dort listen, historically known in English as Dort or Dort, is a city and municipality in the western Netherlands, located in the province of South Holland. It is the province's fifth largest city after Rotterdam, The Hague, Zoetermeer and Leiden, with a population of 118,654. The municipality covers the entire Dordrecht Island, also often called Het Eiland van Dordt, the Island of Dordt, bordered by the rivers Oude Maas, Beneden Merwede, Nieuwe Merwede, Hollands Diep, and Dordtsche Kil. Dordrecht is the largest and most important city in the Drechtsteden, and is also part of the Randstad, the main conurbation in the Netherlands. Dordrecht is the oldest city in Holland and has a rich history and culture. Etymology. The name Dordrecht comes from Dordrecht circa 1120, Dordrecht circa 1200. The name seems to mean thoroughfare, a ship canal or river through which ships were pulled by rope from one river to another, as here from the Double to the Merwede, or vice versa. Earlier etymologists had assumed that the Drecht suffix came from Latin Drechtum, a ford, but this was rejected in 1996. The Drecht is now supposed to have been derived from dreig, which means to pull, tow, or drag. Inhabitants of Dordrecht are Dordtenaren singular Dordtenaar. Dordrecht is informally called Dort by its inhabitants. In earlier centuries, Dordrecht was a major trade port well known to British merchants, and was called Dort in English. History. Early history. The city was formed along the Thur River in the midst of peat swamps. This river was a branch of the river Double, which is part of the massive Rhine-Meuse-Scheldt delta complex near the current Bagenhof. Around 1120, reference to Dordrecht was made by a remark that Count Dirk Roman IV of Holland was murdered in 1049 near Dordrecht. Dordrecht was granted city rights by William I, Count of Holland, in 1220, making it the oldest city in the present province of South Holland. In fact, Geertruidenberg was the first city in the historical county of Holland to receive city rights, but this municipality currently is part of the province of Noord-Brabant. In the 12th and 13th centuries, Dordrecht developed into an important market city because of its strategic location. It traded primarily in wine, wood, and cereals. Dordrecht was made even more important when it was given staple right in 1299. In 1253, a Latin school was founded in Dordrecht. It still exists today as the Johan de Witt Gymnasium and is the oldest gymnasium in the Netherlands. From 1600 to 1615, Gerhard Johan Vossius was rector at this school. On 1819 November 1421, the St. Elizabeth's flood flooded large parts of southern Holland, causing Dordrecht to become an island. It was commonly said that over 10,000 people died in the flood, but recent research indicates that it was probably less than 200 people. On 29 June 1457, the city was devastated by a fire which started in Klein Spuestraat, destroying many buildings, including the Grote Kerk. Union of Dordrecht. In 1572, 4 years into the Dutch revolt, representatives of all the cities of Holland, with the exception of Amsterdam, as well as the Waterjuizen, represented by William Roman II de Landmark, gathered in Dordrecht to hold the Eerste Vrijheidsstatenvergadering First Assembly of the Free States, also known as the Unie van Dordrecht, Union of Dordrecht. This secret meeting, called by the city of Dordrecht, was a rebellious act since only King Philip Roman II or his stadtholder, at that time the Duke of Alva, were allowed to call a meeting of the States of Holland. During the meeting, the organization and financing of the rebellion against the Spanish occupation was discussed. Philip Roman II was unanimously denounced, and William of Orange was chosen as the rightful stadtholder and recognized as the official leader of the revolt. Orange, represented at the meeting by his assistant Philips of Marnix, was promised financial support of his struggle against the Spanish, and at his own request, freedom of religion was declared in all of Holland. The gathering is regarded as the first important step towards the free and independent Dutch Republic. Other important gatherings, such as the Union of Brussels 1577 and the Union of Utrecht 1579, paved the way for official independence of the Dutch Republic, declared in the Act of Abjuration in 1581. The Union of Dordrecht was held in an Augustinian monastery, nowadays simply called Het Hof, the Court. The room in which the meeting was held is called de Statenzaal, the Hall of States, and features a stained glass window in which the coats of arms of the 12 cities that were present at the meeting can be seen. Synod of Dordrecht. From November 13, 1618 to May 9, 1619, an important Dutch Reformed Church assembly took place in Dordrecht, referred to as the Synod of Dordrecht. The Synod attempted, and succeeded, to settle the theological differences of opinion between the central tenets of Calvinism and a new school of thought within the Dutch Reformed Church known as Arminianism, named for its spiritual leader Jacobus Arminius. Arminius' followers were also commonly known as Remonstrants, after the 1610 Articles of Remonstrance, which outlined their points of dissent from the Church's official doctrine. They were opposed by the Contra-Remonstrants, or the Gomarists, who were led by Dutch theologian Franciscus Gomarus. During the 12 Years' Truce, this in essence purely theological conflict between different factions of the Church had in practice spilled over into politics, dividing society along ideological lines and threatening the existence of the young republic by repeatedly bringing it to the brink of civil war. The synod was attended by Gomarist Dutch delegates and also by delegates from Reformed churches in Germany, Switzerland, and England. Though it was originally intended that the synod would bring agreement on the doctrine of predestination among all the Reformed churches, in practice this Dutch synod was mainly concerned with problems facing the Dutch Reformed Church. The opening sessions dealt with a new Dutch translation of the Bible, a catechism, and the censorship of books. The synod then called upon representatives of the Remonstrants to express their beliefs. Remonstrants refused to accept the rules established by the synod and eventually were expelled from the church. The synod then studied the theology of the Remonstrants and declared that it was contrary to Scripture. The canons of Dort were produced. They discussed in detail in 5 sections the errors of the Remonstrants that were rejected as well as the doctrines that were affirmed. The doctrines affirmed were that predestination is not conditional on belief, that Christ did not die for all, the total depravity of man, the irresistible grace of God, and the impossibility of falling from grace. These canons of Dort, along with the Belgic Confession and the Heidelberg Catechism, remained the theological basis of the Reformed churches in the Netherlands. Following the synod, 200 Remonstrant ministers were deposed from their office, of which 80 were banished. The political leaders of the Remonstrant movement were arrested, and one of them beheaded on May 14, 1619. It was only after the death of Prince Maurice in 1625 that the persecution of the Remonstrants ceased. The Patriots movement. From 1780 to 1787, Dordrecht was home to the Patriots faction, which intended to remove the hereditary stadtholder position held by the House of Orange-Nassau. The Netherlands was after all a republic de jure. Soon after, more cities followed, and William V fled from Holland. But his brother-in-law, King Frederick William Roman II of Prussia, came to the aid of William V, and on 18 September 1787, Dordrecht capitulated to Prussian troops. The Patriots were defeated and Willem V was restored in his position as stadtholder. Modern history. In the 18th century, the importance of Dordrecht began to wane, and Rotterdam became the main city in the region. Yet, throughout the centuries, Dordrecht held a key position in the defense of Holland. It hosted an army division well into the 20th century. During the mobilization of August 1939, infantry and artillery were sent to Dordrecht to defend the island. When the Germans invaded the Netherlands on the 10th of May 1940, German paratroopers landed in Dordrecht. After fierce fighting, they overtook the bridges Dordrecht Moerdijk and Dordrecht Zwijndrecht. Many buildings in Dordrecht were destroyed. At the end of the Second World War, during the winter of 1944–45, Dordrecht and its surroundings were in the middle between the opposing armies. The border between occupied and liberated regions ran along the Hollands Diep. Dordrecht was finally liberated by the Canadian Army. In 1970, the municipality de Beldum then Ka, 10,000 inhabitants, and the southern part of the municipality of Sliedrecht were incorporated into Dordrecht, making Dordrecht Island one municipality. Districts. Dordrecht is divided into 27 districts, neighborhoods and hamlets. Demography. In 2008, around 17% of the population of Dordrecht was of non-Western origin. Between 2005 and 2008, this number has not changed. The Allochthonous population consists for a large part of young people, while the indigenous population has started to age very quickly. Over 6,000 Turks live in Dordrecht, many of whom are originally from Keupenaar. According to the Social Geographical Office of Dordrecht, the population consisted of the following ethnic groups in 2005 and 2008. Culture. Because of its long and important role in Dutch history, Dordrecht has a rich culture. The medieval city centre is home to over 950 monuments. The city also houses 7 historic churches and 6 museums in a relatively small area and hosts many festivals and events every year. Places of interest. The Ons Lieve Vrouw Kerk, Our Dear Lady Church, or simply the Groot Kerk Big Church, was built between 1285 and 1470. The 65-meter tower contains a carillon with 67 bells, including one weighing 9,830 kilos, making it the heaviest bell in the Netherlands. The Augustinian Kerk Church of the Augustins was built around 1293 and is currently owned by the Dutch Reformed Church. The church includes the Augustinian monastery Het Hof the Court, which was built in 1275, and was the location of the first assembly of the Free States. The Nieuwkerk New Church, or St. Nicolaas Kirk, was built in 1175 and is, ironically considering its name, the oldest building in Dordrecht. The Munt van Holland Mint of Holland, mint built in 1366. The majority of the coins used in the region of Holland in the Middle Ages were struck here. Nowadays, the building houses a music school. Kik over den Dik view over the dike, the last windmill in Dordrecht. It was built in 1612 and used to produce malt that was used by Dordt's beer brewers. The Groothoofdpoort Big Heads Gate is the original city gate of Dordrecht, built in the 14th and 15th centuries. It is situated at the point where the rivers the Meuse, the Merwede, and the Rhine meet. Arend Martenshof Arend Martens Court, built in 1625. Stad Huys City Hall, built in 1383. Statue of Ari Scheffer, 1861, by Joseph Mezora. Statue of Johann and Cornelis de Witt, 1918, by Toon de Puys. River quays. Harbors. Merchant houses. Museums. The following museums are located in Dordrecht. Binnenvaart Museum, dedicated to the history of inland navigation. Dordrecht's Museum, informally called Schilderij Museum, the Paintings Museum. Every summer its garden, known as de Museumtuin, the Museum Garden, hosts the showing of several art house films that gained significant attention in the previous year. Reopened in late 2010 after an extensive renovation. Simon van Jayen Museum, named after honorary citizen Simon van Jayen and winner of the Museum Prize 2004-2005, awarded by the Prins Bernhard Cultuur Funds. Nationaal Landschapskundig Museum, National Museum of Landscaping. Museum 1940-1945, also known as Het Verzetsmuseum, the Resistance Museum. Het Hof, about the Dutch history. Onderwijsmuseum, dedicated to the Dutch history of education and schools. Events and festivals. Dordrecht hosts around 20 cultural and historical events and festivals each year. The city won the title of Best Events City of the Year in 2003 and was nominated for the same title in 2004 and 2005. Dort in Steam, literally, Dort in Steam is the biggest steam event in Europe, during which historical steam trains, steamboats, etc. can be seen in action. It is organized every other year and attracts 250,000 visitors. Attention is also paid to Dordrecht's art and architecture during Kunstrange Dort, literally, Little Art Circle Dort, and Dort Monumental, which attracts around 100,000 visitors every year. Dordrecht hosts the second largest book market and the largest Christmas market in the Netherlands. Wante Festival is an outdoors music festival that has been held annually in the second week of June since 1995. It takes place in the Wantage Park and attracts around 35,000 people each year. Wantage Park also hosts the Wante Concert and Wantage Concerts that are held every Monday night in July and August. Other popular music festivals held in Dordrecht are the World Jazz Dagen, World Jazz Days held annually in August or September, the Dansetour or Boulevard of Dance, which takes place on King's Day, Big Rivers Festival, a film, music, poetry and theater festival held in June, and the Cello Festival, held every 4 years in the weekend of the Ascension. Ronduit Dordrecht T. Since 2013 they do organize a 4-day bicycle festival early June. A website with a list of the festivals in the city Dordrecht, Dordrecht Festivals. Folklore. During Carnaval, Dordrecht is called Uien Ramsket Use and Ramshole, and its inhabitants are Schepekop and Sheepheads. This name originates from an old folk story. Import of meat or cattle was taxed in the 17th century. To avoid having to pay, 2 men dressed up a sheep they had bought outside the city walls, attempting to disguise it as a man. The sheep was discovered because it bleated as the 3 men, 2 men and 1 sheep passed through the city wall gate. There is a special monument of a man and his son trying to hold a sheep disguised as a man between them that refers to this legend. The logo of Dordrecht's professional football club FC Dordrecht includes the head of a ram, and its supporters are known to sing "Wij zijn de Dordtsche Scheepkoppen," we are the Dordtsche sheepheads, during matches. There is also a cookie called Schepekop sheephead, which is a speciality of Dordrecht. There are many more legends about Dordrecht. One of them is about Saint Sura, a young woman who planned on building an entire church with only 3 coins in her purse. She was murdered because of her supposed wealth. Another legend is about the house called De Onbeschaamd, the Unembarrassed. It is about the 3 brothers Van Beveren who each wanted to build a house and decided to make a bet on who would dare to place the most risque statue on their facade. One of the brothers, Abraham Van Beveren, placed a naked little boy on his facade. However, the house that supposedly won has an empty facade today because, according to the story, The statue was so risque that it was removed. A well-known saying about ๊dɔrdrɛxt is Hoe dichter bij Dort, hoe rotter het wordt. The closer to ๊dɔrdrɛxt, the more rotten it gets. The previous mayor Norland added to that, maar ben je eenmaal in, dan heb je het prima naar je zin, but once you're in it, you're perfectly content. The saying can probably be explained as follows: traffic used to go by water, and whoever came close to Dordrecht was obliged, according to staple right, to display their merchandise for a couple of days before being allowed to sail on. This caused loss of time and caused products to become rotten. Another explanation is derived from Bommel is Rommel. Bijtile is Nijt Viel and Hoe dichter bij Dort, hoe rotter het wordt, which is supposed to be said by farmers describing the bad quality of the land close to the rivers Maas and Wal, only suitable for harvesting reed. Nature. The Sliedrechtse Biesbosch east of Dordrecht, and the Dordtse Biesbosch. The Dordtse Biesbosch has several recreational areas that are used for walking, rowing, and swimming. There are also several parks near the city, such as Merwe Park and Wante Park. Sports. The Ruwel Stadion is a football stadium and home ground of the local team FC Dordrecht playing in the Second National League. Dordts. Dordts is a dialect of Dutch traditionally spoken by the working class of Dordrecht. It is categorized under the Hollandic accents, but also has characteristics of Zeelandic and Brabantian. Typical features of Dordts are using the diminutive suffix ie or tie in cases where Standard Dutch uses g, e.g. Standard Dutch, appelt little apple Dordts, appelty. Words borrowed from Brabantian such as akkerdier lit, to knock or to fit, fig, to get along. The Dutch diphthongs I and ui tend to be pronounced more like e and u. Recently, the I sound has started to be pronounced more like ai. In the 20th century, Dordts has slowly started to disappear as more and more people have started speaking Standard Dutch. The strongest Dordts dialect is nowadays found in the working-class neighborhoods bordering the city center. Other. On 14 November 1992 and again on 12 November 2011, the official arrival of the popular historical figure Sinterklaas was held in Dordrecht and broadcast on national television. Economy. The current economy of Dordrecht is based on shipbuilding, wood industry, and steel industry. The city has the sixth largest seaport in the Netherlands. One of the largest employers on Dordrecht Island is DuPont de Nemours Nederland BV. It has 9 factories here with a workforce of 900 people. In development are the Learning and Health Business Parks. The Learning Park is intended to have 60,000 to 645,834. 63 sqft of space for educational institutions. In the Health Park, a wide range of health services will be located, with the Dordrecht campus of the Albert Schweitzer Hospital as focal point. Other services include a blood bank, pharmacy, and mental health clinic. Near the health park, a new sport park will be built. A new large sports center, the equivalent size of 3 soccer fields, is planned, complete with gyms, skating rink, and a pool. Next to this sport park, a huge outdoor event terrain will be established. Shopping. Shopping in the center of Dordrecht is centered around the Voorstraat, the Sarasgang, and the Staten Square. The Voorstraat is 1,200 meters 1,300 wide long, making it the longest shopping street in the Netherlands. Markets are held every Friday and Saturday on the Statenplein and in the Sarasgang, and on Tuesday in De Belgium. Government and politics. College van B&W. In February 2020, the College van Burgemeester and Wethouders Board of Mayor and Aldermen in Dordrecht consisted of the following: Wouter Kalf, Mayor VVD. Piet Sleeking, Alderman. Peter voor Dort. Peter Hagekoop, Alderman CDA. Marco Stam, Alderman Beter voor Dort. Rick van der Linden, Alderman CU/SGP. Martin Berggraaf, Alderman VVD. Local election. The results of the 2018 municipal election in Dordrecht were as follows. Partner cities. Partner cities of Dordrecht are: public transport. Dordrecht is well connected to the Dutch railroad system and has several international connections. There are 3 railway stations: Dordrecht Railway Station, Zuid Railway Station, and Stadspolders Railway Station. The train system hosts 4 train lines. Southwest direction Roosendaal and further including international to Belgium. Southeast direction Breda, Eindhoven. Northwest direction Rotterdam, The Hague, Amsterdam. East direction Gorinchem, Geldermalsen. The 4 operating train lines serve 3 railway stations within the city boundaries: Dordrecht, Dordrecht Zuid, Dordrecht Stadspolders. Main connections. Frequent services within the Netherlands. Intercity line to Rotterdam, The Hague, Leiden, Amsterdam Airport Schiphol and Amsterdam Northwest. Intercity line to Roosendaal, on to Vlissingen Southwest. Intercity line to Breda, Tilburg, Eindhoven, Helmond and Venlo Southeast. Several semi-fast services and local trains originate or call at Dordrecht. Detailed information available from the site of the Netherlands Spoorwegen Dutch Railways 1. Qbus, the city bus company of Dordrecht, also serving Alblasserwaard, Drechtsteden and Linden, and also operating the train to Gorinchem and Geldermalsen. And Arriva is part of the Waterbus. Waterbus Line 20. Rotterdam Erasmusbrug Krimpen aan den IJssel Stormpolder Ridderkerk to Schans Alblasserdam Kade Hendrik I Douw, Ambacht Noordeend Papendrecht, Westeind Dordrecht Merwede. Line 21. Dordrecht Hoekade Zwijndrecht Veerplein. Line 22. Dordrecht Merwede Papendrecht Veerdam. Line 23. Dordrecht Merwede Papendrecht Oosteind Hollands Biesbosch Sliedrecht Middeldip. Line 24. Dordrecht Merwede Zwijndrecht Veerplein. Famous people from Dordrecht. See also people from Dordrecht. The arts. Hendrik Spuy 1575–1625, a Dutch organist and composer. Jacob Cats 1577–1660, a Dutch poet, humorist, jurist and Grand Pensionary of Holland. Jeremias de Decker 1610–1666, a Dutch poet. Matthias Balen 1611–1691, a Dutch historian, wrote Beschrijving der Stad Dordrecht, description of city of Dordrecht. Aelbert Cuyp 1620–1691, a Dutch Golden Age painter of landscapes. Margaretha van Godewijk 1627–1677, a Dutch Golden Age poet and painter. Samuel Dirks van Hoogstraten 1627–1678, a Dutch Golden Age painter, also a poet and author on art theory. Nicolas Mies 1634–1693, a Dutch painter of genre scenes and portraits. Godfried Schalken 1643–1706, a Dutch genre and portrait painter. Arnold Houbraken 1660–1719, a Dutch Golden Age painter and writer. François Valentin 1666–1727, a Dutch minister, naturalist and author, wrote Oud en Neo Oost-Indian about the Dutch East India Company. Jacobus Houbraken 1698–1780, a Dutch engraver. Art Schumann 1710–1792, Dutch painter and engraver. Johannes Amerziel, Dutch Wiki 1776–1841, a Dutch writer and poet. Ari Scheffer 1795–1858, a Dutch-French romantic painter. Cornelie van Zanten, 1855–1946, a Dutch opera singer, author, and teacher. Auguste Poe, 1859–1944, a Dutch poet who loved Iceland. Jan Veth, 1864–1925, a Dutch painter, poet, art critic, and university lecturer. Top Neef Dutch Wiki, 1878–1953, a Dutch writer. Allard de Ridder, 1887–1966, a Dutch-Canadian conductor, violist, and composer. Peter Herkos, 1911–1988, Dutch entertainer, performed psychic feats. Kees Budding, 1918–1985, a Dutch poet, TV presenter, and translator. Jan Eijkelboom, Dutch Wiki, 1926–2008, a Dutch journalist and writer. Henk Bouwman, born 1951, a Dutch harpsichordist, fortepianist, conductor, and composer. Ido Brunner, born 1970, a Dutch actor and presenter. Cellen Schoonmaker, born 1989, a Dutch theater actress and singer. Ook 3NE, formed 2007, a Dutch girl group, and the Voice of Holland winners in 2014. Public thinking and public service. Beatrix de Rijk, 1421–1468, a Dutch foundling from St. Elizabeth's flood, 1421. Gerhard Johann Vossius, 1577–1649, a Dutch classical scholar and theologian. Simon de Danser Ka, 1579 Ka, 1615, a Dutch privateer and pirate. Jacob de Witt, 1589–1674, burgomaster of Dordrecht and the son of a timber merchant. Brothers Cornelis de Witt, 1623–1672, and Johann de Witt, 1625–1672, lynched politicians. Laurens de Graaf Ka, 1653–1704, a Dutch pirate, mercenary, and naval officer. Conrad Theodor van Deventer, 1857–1915, a lawyer and author about the Dutch East Indies. Pieter Jael, 1887–1966, an historian, studied early modern Dutch history and historiography. Cornelis Eliza Bertus Bremekamp, 1888–1984, a botanist, worked in Indonesia and South Africa. Marinus Vertregt, 1897–1973, a Dutch astronomer. Jacques Burger, 1904–1986, a Dutch politician and jurist, lawyer in Dordrecht, 1929–1942. Henk Korthals, 1911–1976, a Dutch politician and journalist. Theo Bot, 1911–1984, a Dutch politician, diplomat, and jurist. Art Alblas, 1918–1944, a Dutch Navy officer, Dutch resistance member, and Engelen Varder. Nicolaas Bloembergen, 1920–2017, a Dutch-American physicist and winner of the 1981 Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on nonlinear optics for laser spectroscopy. Jan Pauwer, 1924–2010, a Dutch anthropologist and academic. Philip Sheltons, born 1957, a professor of neurology and expert on Alzheimer's disease. Aline Slagboom, born 1960, a biologist specializing in human familial longevity and aging. Sport. Dirk Boost Gips, 1864–1920, a Dutch sports shooter, team bronze medalist at the 1900 Summer Olympics. Hendrik de Jong, 1877–1962, a fencer, team bronze medalist at the 1912 Summer Olympics. Brothers Geert Lotzig, 1878–1959, and Paul Lotzig, 1880–1910, rowers, team silver medalists at the 1900 Summer Olympics. Piet Bouwman, 1892–1980, a Dutch amateur footballer, team bronze medalist at the 1912 Summer Olympics. Karel Lotze, Dutch Wiki, 1893–1959, sport leader, Dutch Olympic head of mission, 1936–1952. Simon Wolfs, born 1952, a strongman and drug smuggler. Peter Smit, 1961-2005, a Dutch martial artist. Joel Ellerman, born 1965, a Dutch former footballer with 389 club caps. Marco Boogers, born 1967, a Dutch former professional footballer with 399 club caps. Reinier Robemond, born 1972, a Dutch football manager and former player with 412 club caps. Danny McKelly, born 1983, is a Dutch FIFA football referee. Marino Michels, born 1984, a Dutch darts player. Lucinda Brand, born 1989, cyclist. Maria Verskoor, born 1994, a Dutch field hockey player, team silver medalist at the 2016 Summer Olympics. Image gallery.